This is a Widos 4400 CNC welding machine. This is the control unit here. The connections on the back are two hydraulic fixings there, the weigh sensor which is screwed in there, a heater and a planer. It's 110 volt, and once plugged in you allow it to heat up to the correct temperature. The size of the welding can be changed by using the barcode reader and using the plus and minus keys to establish exactly what you're going to weld. For this one we're going to do P100 90mm 5.4. Okay. Once you're ready and you've selected that material, you allow the machine to heat up, and then by working through the keyboard you can put in project names by alphanumeric keyboard, the joint reference, and then the weather and protection, which is on the side of the machine showing you for traceability that you used a tent, or it was raining, or it was windy, etc. Once you've selected those, you're ready to start the welding process. The machine itself has 4 sets of clamps and will weld from 50 up to 160mm. The end clamp can be removed to allow you to do T's and any other awkward fittings, so you would just clamp on the one side. The machine is now telling us to insert and clean the pipes. Obviously these would be made free from dust, water or any other residues that were on them. You cut the pipe with a pipe cutter to ensure that you have as true a cut as possible and as less material to plane off. By cutting with a buzz saw or a disc saw, you introduce static into the material, and this can cause chips to go down the inside of the pipe, and that could be difficult to get out, or could actually fall into the welding area, which you don't want. Tighten the clamps and stick the pipes through into the welding interface area about 15 to 20mm. Okay, once that's done, we press the button. The machine will now calculate the drag by moving the moving carriage in and out. We'll then calibrate this and add it to the welding pressure. It's now opened up and we're ready to insert the planing tool. Start the planer by pressing the planer button and keeping our finger on it while it's planing. Once the planing is done, we can check the face of the pipes to see if that they are true, and that we've got a ribbon at least 1.5 times the circumference of the pipe on both sides, with no visible chips out of it. We then clean the area so that there's nothing that can go into the weld when we put the heater in. We're now going to check the alignment by pressing the check the alignment button. Okay. We're allowed 10% of the wall thickness misalignment and 1/2 mm gap at the top if touching at the bottom, and vice versa. Once we're happy with the alignment, confirm the alignment, the machine then opens up and tells us to insert the heating element. Press the start button, the machine will come in and knock the heater perpendicular. It will then come together and build up the pressure to the bead up section of the weld process. When the bead has reached a certain height and the machine has measured the displacement, It will then go into the welding time and the pressure drops off to almost zero. It will now heat up for approximately 52 seconds for this size of pipe. Five seconds before the time elapses, we'll get a warning signal, which is a beep to tell us to get ready to take the heater out. The machine's now brought the two pieces of pipe together and they're now cooling under pressure for approximately 6 3/4 minutes. The motor will constantly kick in to maintain the pressure as the material is displaced from the weld area. Once the time has elapsed, we will get a message to tell us whether the weld was successful and the parameters were followed. The pressure will then be removed and we will be allowed to take the pipes out of the clamps safely. This is a graph of the welding process. Pressure up the side here, time along the bottom. And we've got 4 phases here. The first one being the bead up, which is at a given pressure depending on the thickness and the size of the pipe. There's no time limit for this. What we're looking for is a designated size of bead on both sides of the heater plate. Whilst this is under pressure, the bead will build up, and once we're happy that the bead is built up to that point, the pressure is then removed to 0.01 newtons per millimeter squared. This is approximately 10% of the initial bead up pressure. At this point, this is our heating time, and that will be given in the parameters in the manual. Once this heat soak is done, the pressure is removed completely, the heater is taken out, and the pressure is built up slowly back up to the initial bead pressure. This is then the cooling period, and again will be shown in the parameters in the manual. You can see now that it's saying the parameters are okay, so as far as the machine is concerned, all parameters have been followed successfully. We can now remove the pipes. The pressure has now gone off the pipes.